Have you noticed subtle changes in your elderly parent or grandparent lately? Small shifts that seem concerning, but you can't quite put your finger on why. These quiet changes could be your loved one's body trying to tell you something important, something that might help you prepare for difficult conversations and decisions ahead. Welcome back to Health and Wisdom 365, where we believe knowledge is power, especially when it comes to caring for our aging loved ones. I'm David, and today we're discussing a topic that's difficult but necessary: the subtle signs that an elderly person might be in their final year of life. If you're new to our channel, please hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you'll never miss our essential guides for navigating the senior years with dignity and compassion. Understanding these signs isn't about giving up hope. It's about being prepared, ensuring comfort, and making the most of precious time. By recognizing these subtle warnings, you can help ensure your loved one receives appropriate care, has their wishes respected, and most importantly, doesn't face these changes alone. By the end of this video, you'll be better equipped to notice these quiet signals and understand what they might mean. So let's dive into the 5 signs that could indicate an elderly person may be entering their final year. Sign number 1: the withdrawal from social activities and long-term planning. Eleanor had always been the heart of her community, organizing church events, attending weekly bridge games, and planning family gatherings months in advance. But her daughter Martha noticed something changing. Eleanor stopped volunteering for committees, declined invitations to events more than a few weeks away, and seemed uninterested in planning the annual family reunion she'd coordinated for decades. It wasn't depression, Martha explains. Mom still enjoyed visits and conversations, but it was as if she instinctively knew not to commit to things too far in the future. This subtle withdrawal from long-term social commitments and planning is often one of the earliest signs that an elderly person may be entering their final transition. It's not necessarily a conscious decision. Many medical experts believe it's an intuitive awareness that their time may be limited. Dr. Thomas Wilson, a geriatric specialist I consulted with, explains, "The body often knows what the mind hasn't yet acknowledged. This pulling back from the future isn't giving up. It's a natural redirection of energy toward what matters most in the present." If you notice your loved one showing less interest in activities they once enjoyed, especially those scheduled more than a few months away, don't immediately assume it's just depression or fatigue. While these could be factors, consider having gentle conversations about how they're feeling about the future. Have you noticed someone in your life showing this kind of withdrawal? Share your experiences in the comments below. Your insight might help others recognize this subtle sign in their own families. And if you're finding this information valuable, please take a moment to give this video a thumbs up so more people can benefit from this important conversation. Sign number 2: changes in sleep and energy patterns. The second sign involves noticeable changes in sleep and energy, but not always in the way you might expect. Frank, at 84, had always been an early riser, typically up before dawn and active throughout the day. His son noticed that Frank had begun sleeping much more, taking long naps, going to bed earlier, and sometimes sleeping past 9 a.m. Even more telling was what happened when he was awake. Dad would have these brief periods of remarkable clarity and energy. His son recalls, he'd suddenly want to go through old photos, call distant relatives, or tell stories from his youth. Then, just as suddenly, he'd be completely exhausted again. This fluctuation between increased sleep and brief periods of unusual alertness or activity is what medical professionals sometimes call terminal restlessness or pre-terminal awareness. It's part of the body's natural process as it begins to conserve energy for only the most meaningful activities. Dr. Melissa Rivera, a hospice specialist, notes, "These changes in energy often seem contradictory. More sleep overall, yet periods of intense focus or activity. Pay special attention to what they choose to do during those alert times. It often reveals what's most important to them." If you've been worrying about a loved one sleeping more than usual, consider tracking not just how much they sleep, but what they choose to do during their waking hours. These patterns can provide important insights into their physical condition and emotional priorities. We have a detailed video on supporting healthy sleep in seniors. I'll link it in the description below. If you haven't already subscribed to Health and Wisdom 365, please do so now to access all our resources on senior care and wellness. Sign number 3: subtle changes in appetite and weight. Changes in eating habits and weight are among the most common but frequently misunderstood signs that an elderly person may be approaching their final year. Margaret, age 92, had always loved cooking and eating. Her daughter Janet noticed that Margaret's appetite had changed, not dramatically at first, but in subtle ways. She would take a few bites and declare herself full or show no interest in foods she once loved. When Janet brought her favorite dessert, Margaret appreciated the gesture but had little interest in actually eating it. "I kept trying to tempt her with her favorite foods," Janet says. "I didn't realize that her body was naturally reducing its need for nourishment. Once I understood that, I stopped pushing food and instead focused on making our mealtime conversations more meaningful." This gradual decrease in appetite and subsequent weight loss is a natural part of the body's transition process. The body begins to require less energy and naturally reduces hunger signals. It's not starvation. It's the body's way of gently preparing for the final transition. Families often struggle with this change the most, explains nutritionist David Chen. Our instinct is to show love through food and worry when our loved ones don't eat. But forcing food can actually cause discomfort and distress. Instead of focusing on quantity of food, shift to quality. Small portions of favorite foods, served beautifully, can become moments of joy rather than battles over eating enough. Honor their changing appetite while ensuring they remain comfortable and hydrated. Have you noticed changes in a loved one's appetite that concerned you? How did you handle it? Share your experiences in the comments. Your story might help someone else facing this challenge. And if you're finding these insights helpful, please consider sharing this video with friends or family members who might benefit from understanding these natural transitions better. Sign number 4, increased reflection and life review. The fourth sign is more spiritual or psychological. A noticeable increase in reflection, reminiscence, and life review. James, at 88, had always been a practical man focused on the present and future. His granddaughter noticed a change when he began spending hours looking through old photographs, telling detailed stories from his youth, and expressing opinions about his life choices, both regrets and celebrations. Grandpa started sharing stories he'd never told before, she remembers. He talked about his time in the service, his first love before Grandma, and even some family conflicts I'd never known about. It felt like he was putting his life in order, making sense of everything that had happened. This process of life review, reflecting on one's experiences, achievements, relationships, and even regrets, is a significant psychological task of life's final phase. It's not just nostalgia, it's a way of finding meaning and coming to terms with one's complete life story. Dr. Sarah Patel, a palliative care psychologist, explains, "This life review process serves important psychological purposes. It helps people find meaning in their experiences, resolve old conflicts, and prepare for letting go. When an elderly person suddenly becomes more reflective or wants to share memories, it's important to listen without judgment. If your loved one has become more introspective or eager to share memories, consider recording these conversations with their permission. These stories are precious gifts, and the act of sharing them can provide substantial emotional peace. At Health and Wisdom 365, we believe these moments of reflection are sacred opportunities for connection. If you're finding value in understanding these important life transitions, please support our channel by liking this video and subscribing if you haven't already. Sign number 5, subtle physical changes beyond normal aging. The final sign involves physical changes that go beyond normal aging. Subtle shifts that can be easy to miss if you're not paying close attention. Clara, at 79, had managed her health conditions well for years. Her son noticed that despite no major medical events, Clara seemed to be changing physically in small ways. Her hands felt cooler than usual, even in a warm room. Her skin seemed more transparent, with visible veins. Her breathing patterns changed, sometimes deeper, sometimes with subtle pauses, and perhaps most tellingly, her sense of smell and taste diminished significantly. These weren't dramatic changes, her son recalls. They were so subtle that at first I didn't connect them. It was only when the hospice nurse explained these signs that I realized Mom's body had been trying to tell us something important for months. These physical changes, cooler extremities, changes in skin texture or color, altered breathing patterns, and diminished senses often occur as circulation changes and the body begins to conserve energy for vital organs. Dr. Michael Chen, a geriatric specialist, notes, "These physical signs don't necessarily mean death is imminent, but they are the body's way of showing that it's undergoing important transitions. Recognizing these changes allows families to ensure proper comfort care. If you notice these subtle physical changes, consider consulting with a healthcare provider who specializes in geriatric or palliative care. These experts can help ensure your loved one remains comfortable and can guide important conversations about care preferences." Have you noticed any of these physical changes in someone you care for? Your observations in the comments might help others recognize similar patterns in their loved ones. And if you know someone who's caring for an aging parent or grandparent, please share this video with them. This knowledge can make a significant difference in end-of-life care. What to do if you notice these signs? If you've recognized several of these signs in someone you love, you might be wondering what to do next. Here are some compassionate approaches. Start gentle conversations about their wishes, values, and preferences for care. Don't wait until crisis moments to discuss important topics. Consider consulting with palliative care specialists, even if your loved one isn't terminally ill. These experts focus on comfort and quality of life at any stage. Review or create advanced directives to ensure their wishes regarding medical care are documented and respected. Focus on quality experiences rather than quantity. Simple pleasures often become the most meaningful. Sitting in the sunshine, enjoying favorite music, or connecting with loved ones. Take care of yourself too. Recognizing these signs can be emotionally difficult. Seek support from friends, support groups, or counseling services. Remember that recognizing these signs isn't about giving up hope. It's about embracing reality with compassion and making the most of precious time. Not everyone who shows these signs will pass away within a year, but being attentive to these changes allows for better care and more meaningful final chapters. We have a complete guide to having difficult conversations about end-of-life wishes in our family caregiving playlist. I'll link to it in the description below. These conversations, while challenging, can be incredible gifts to both you and your loved one. Final thoughts. Understanding the subtle signs that an elderly person may be in their final year isn't about predicting the future. It's about being present and responsive to their changing needs. By recognizing these quiet signals, you can help ensure that your loved one's final chapter is written with dignity, comfort, and meaning. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this sensitive topic. Have you recognized any of these signs in someone you care for? How did you respond? Share your experiences in the comments below. Your wisdom might be exactly what another viewer needs to hear today. If this information has been valuable to you, please support Health and Wisdom 365 by hitting the like button and subscribing to our channel. Your engagement helps us reach more families who are navigating these challenging transitions. And don't forget to tap the notification bell so you'll be first to know when we release new resources for senior care and family caregiving. If you know someone who's caring for an aging loved one, please share this video with them. Just click the share button below. The knowledge you share today could help another family recognize these signs and respond with greater understanding and compassion. Next week, we'll be discussing how to create meaningful moments with seniors who have limited energy and mobility. You won't want to miss these practical, heartwarming ideas for connection. Thank you for joining me for this important conversation. Remember, recognizing these signs isn't about focusing on the end. It's about making every remaining moment matter. Until next time, this is Emma from Health and Wisdom 365, wishing you and your loved ones peace, comfort, and meaningful connections.